bunch of disposable weapons, or the non-disposable spec weapons. I've pretty much used all of them. They consist of claws, AGS, BGS, and Certiman sword. First, I'll start off with claws. It's pretty much like a slightly better DDS. And then its damage. It's damage you can do a lot really fast. It's like the best rushing weapon out there, and it's really accurate. It's like always accurate. It uses 50%. You get 2 specs total. Let's see. How it works is it takes the first hit and you double it. That's your total damage pretty much, except it breaks it into 4 separate hits. For example, and I'll put this up on the screen. If you hit 400 first hit, it'll hit 400, and then half of it 200, and then it'll hit 100. And that's pretty much it. Flaws with it is it makes it really susceptible to the Phoenix necklace, and it's pretty much impossible to kill if they have shark bruise or yeah. They're a good weapon though. I mean, it's pretty cheap now. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it. Next one is an Armadillo God Sword. It's the most powerful spec weapon in the game. It's been hitting, 800s and, even 700s in just regular PK gear. And it's, like, really accurate, too. One of the problems is that, you can't, it's not disposable, and it's kind of slow. In that you have to have a decent combo in order to set yourself up for a decent spec, and it makes you really easy to kill, easy venged against, and yeah, you can't really combo with it, but AGS. Alright, BGS, it sucks, or so people say. It's really a poor man's AGS. It costs like 17 mil or something. It only has 1 spec, which uses up 100%, and it's like a 20% damage increase from a regular hit compared to an AGS is like 400 or 40% increase, and it lowers their stats lowers them 1 defense level, 1 1/3 defense levels for every 10 damage it does. So if your opponent's hits you with 300, it lowers your defense 40 or something like that. And if after it lowers defense, say you spec someone that's a pure, and of course they can't lose any more defense, so the spec lowers strength. It's kind of unclear. I'll put it out in writing so you get it. BGS is worthwhile, but I would use it with a descam, and I descam to BGS, kind of like Rune 2-handing in free-to-play combat. Yeah, I'll give you some examples of that. And yeah, and last but not least is the Certiman sword. It's a good weapon. It's the same speed as a whip, same damage as a whip. I wouldn't use it for Pking though. You should keep training strength with it. Don't bring it into BH. But the spec is good. It's really inaccurate in that it's gonna fail a lot. It's part mage based, part strength based. Basically it's a hit, and then it's like a mage hit in between 5 or 50 and 150, and a melee attack plus a little bit of extra damage, and you can hit like up to 500 with it, and it's accurate enough to be useful, but I still don't like using it because you don't have a shield, and I don't recommend using a Certiman sword. Okay. Now that all the spec weapon information's out of the way, I'll talk about actually switching from one to another. And it's pretty simple once you know what you're doing. What are those black lines? Anyways, what you're gonna want to start always with is right-clicking your spec weapon and putting on a wield, and then you're gonna want to hit F5. And if you're on a laptop, it'll be a function key and whatever. So I recommend using a desktop or somehow getting your F5 key to work, which puts you onto this attack screen. And now it makes the switch a lot easier. You can just click wield and then bam, and there's not that much clicking in between. But if that's basic, that's where you should start. If you can move it to a special place, like if you move it to the 7th row all the way to the right, you can do it a lot easier and just click in the same place. That didn't really work. Wield and then spec. There you go. And it's already spec'd. Literally not at all. But even then, that's not enough for you. Some people like to change the attack type, so I move it right here, put it on strength, and then turn on spec. And again, it's easier said than done, and that's what you need to know. Right click, F5. Here, I'll just kill this noob nugget for an example. The perfect switch you can do is fluid, no time wasted, consists of just clicking and then switching. I'm really laggy right now, so I'm not even gonna be able to do this. But it's fluid, no time wasted, easier said than done. It takes practice. Again, I'm so laggy, this doesn't really work. Yeah, that's everything to spec weapons. It's easy if you're using, a slower weapon, which is where you want to start. Like if you want to use a D-long and then fight things, and you can practice while you're slaying, and use a slower weapon. And then once you get pro, you can use, say, like a mage short bow, and then just show off. And okay, so let me talk about the order of what you do it. You always right-click spec weapon, click spec, and then click on your opponent. Unless you're ranging, and then you want to put on your spec weapon, change, and then hit F5 and hit spec. But mostly it's just click on spec and then click on your opponent. That's everything to it. And that's switching. Oh my god. Alright, this is gonna slow my guide down a little bit. But that last scene where I was killing the Suckwa? Kinda just went and ate dinner, and I logged on to this. Yeah. Well, if you look at my inventory from there, it's kinda gone now, and as you can see, I have 0 coins. 'Cause I had them all in my inventory at the time. Cool. Well, alright, I'm gonna finish the guide. Just little pit stop right now. That kinda sucks. But, yeah. I know. And yeah, and it's listening to you too. As we can see, I'm not terribly off, welfare, but I'm kinda down a lot now. Just see what I got real quick. Oh, I forgot about these Johns. Okay, and I got okay. Okay. I mean, I still got 10 mil, okay? Don't worry about it. I got this. Speed bump. Alright.